more than 24 hours after a powerful 6.8 magnitude earthquake rocked the country, killing more than 2,000 people. 1,400 people are said to be in critical condition at this hour. Here we see a rescue team pulling a woman out of the rubble, and as searches continue, the death toll, we're told by officials, is expected to climb even higher as night continues to grind on there in Morocco. CNN's Sam Kiley joins us from Marrakesh. Sam, what's the latest there? You're back, I think, in that location where we saw perhaps the ceiling above you giving way just a touch. How are things looking where you're at?
Well, Jim, you put your finger on what everybody here is most afraid of here in the Medina, in the old city of Marrakesh, an environment that really, certainly not in living memory, and certainly for many people, not even in the history books, has any recollection of being worried about an earthquake. Here you have the direct results of it. It's the collapse of a roof. That blank space there is the night sky above it. So you've got a roof, a floor, two ceilings, all collapsed down onto the ground here where I'm standing. And then if you look at these buildings, we're in these very narrow streets, these very, very narrow streets, Jim. And all of these buildings have got enormous cracks down the side. And the concern, obviously, is if any of these cracks give way as a result of future tremors, then the death toll here in Marrakesh, which is at least 13, possibly higher, is certain to go up. But elsewhere in the country, the scenes have been absolutely catastrophic, Jim, with large numbers of villages, particularly in the foothills of the Atlas Mountains, been totally destroyed. We've seen aerial pictures of entire villages reduced to this kind of rubble, with people, of course, trapped beneath. Already in some of the outlying villages, there have been burial ceremonies in the Muslim tradition, getting people interred within 24 hours, almost before it's been possible to get relief to some of these villages, because the communication systems, the roads, such as they were, have been cut or closed by landslides. Entire villages have been hit by mass landslides or themselves have slid down the sides of mountains. Many of these environments only accessible by air. The King here has announced 3 days of national mourning. The army and other services have been involved in getting their aircraft out to try and assess the scale of devastation in this country. And of course, the aftershocks are continuing, or have continued within the last 24 hours, to shake the area, particularly in the Atlas Mountains. Mercifully, only very slight aftershocks have been felt here in Marrakesh. But if one were to strike, then it's pretty clear that this entire building could fold in on itself into the street. And it's for that reason, Jim, that a huge number of, at least 30%, we are told by a lot of hoteliers here, people in Riyadh, the beautiful mini palaces that you have throughout the Medina here, they've all been evacuated, all the restaurants closed. Many large numbers of ordinary Moroccans are now sleeping out in the open in parks on the verges of roads, Jim, and that is in order to be away from any of the buildings, which will be taking many, many months, if not years, to bring back to a point of repair at which they no longer pose a danger to the people who own and want to live in them, Jim.
And Sam, I mean, you addressed in part the question that I was just about to ask. We were looking at some of this video earlier on this evening where it looks like you just have scores of people living in the streets right now. And I'm just wondering, what is it that's going to be done for those folks? I imagine that is where international relief efforts are going to be sorely needed in the coming days, because it sounds as though and we're looking at some of those images right now, these folks just sleeping on the streets. It sounds as though these folks are going to be without housing for a very long period of time.
It's not yet clear, I think, to the authorities, Jim, the scale, particularly in a city like Marrakesh, of the people who are going to be permanently or semi-permanently homeless. Many people, as a precaution, are simply staying out of buildings, sleeping in the open, because that might, in their view, be the safest thing to do. The weather's not so bad, so that's conceivable for a night or two. But at the same time, of course, the authorities need to be able to supply water, get the water supplies going, and above all, make sure that these homes can be lived in. Many, many millions of dollars been spent over the last decades, hundreds of millions, on restoring this ancient city. And that now has got to start all over again.
Wow.
Jim?
All right. Sam Kiley, they have a lot of work ahead of them there in Morocco. We appreciate all the reporting you've done this evening. Thank you very much. And last hour, I spoke with Carmen Moreno. She's a humanitarian worker who was vacationing in Morocco when the earthquake hit. And here's what she told me.
I heard this people screaming, and the lights were all off inside the infrastructure of the airport and the building. And then very quickly I saw again these images I experienced earlier this year, and I realized it was an earthquake, but honestly I didn't think it was this hard, this high magnitude.
And learn how you can help victims of the Morocco earthquake at cnn.com/impact, or you can text Morocco to 707070 to donate, and the people there desperately need your help at this hour of need.